懂的 feeling。这个玩的前提 meaning only you。Take the house open the ceiling。On the white island, reality side, reality side, reality side, reality side. Venom in the fall.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'll play this song for like a minute or two while people come in, but I'm about to. First track we're gonna break down is my Blade remix that I made recently, and I only put that out on Audius, and it's just gonna be kind of to start. First off, let me know if the levels are messed up or if anything could be better here. But we tested it and it was good. So, but kind of be a rough how to make a bootleg remix in like a half hour, just rundown of like kind of some tips and tricks for how you can do that, and just like some of my synth work and signature sober up stuff that I like to do. So here's the track. I'll play it through maybe once or twice, unless everyone's here and I can just dive in.
It's real, put a concept on that feeling. Take a word and change the meaning only you. Take the house open the ceiling. On the white island, reality side, reality side, reality side, reality side. Venom in the fire, enemies cause hitting you. Treat them into pine. Snakes slither in the spine.
Yeah, so that's the remix. Let me put my phone over here so don't distract me. Oh, that's gonna vibrate the mic. Okay, here we go. So I guess I should probably start by playing just what I started with, because most of you probably don't know this song. So the song's called Reality Surf by Blade. And I don't know if I actually can probably just make a new channel here and bring this over here. Okay. So this is the original. The reason I never really do remixes, and I usually make original music, but the reason I made this remix was because I love Blade and I love his producers that he likes to work with, Young Good and Young Sherman and White Armor and that whole crew that usually produces for Young Lean and Sad Boys and and Drain Gang and that whole squad. They're super talented producers, regardless of what you think of Blade as an artist. He's an incredible artist, but I know people have mixed feelings about that. It's not everyone's cup of tea, is all I mean. But this song has a lot of... I loved a lot of it, and it had so much open space for a remix, which is pretty rare. I would never remix like EDM. So it's pretty rare. I think I've remixed like one EDM song before. Because because it just seems redundant. But this is the track.
It's alright, we got food, we got calm, saluted, yeah, it's real. Put a concept on that feeling. Take a word and change the meaning only you. Take the house up in the ceiling. On the white island, reality side. Reality side, reality side, reality side. Venom in the fire.
So you can hear it never goes anywhere, like drums never come in.
I have never been the one to talk. Cinderella, Cinderella, word if it sits. Really just to watch it fall apart. Looking for
It's like it really just has the hi-hat going and the claps and stuff. Not no drums. So that was why I was like, oh shit, this is perfect. I could just add drums to it because I don't have. It's not like I have stems for this or anything. So then I kind of started manipulating it a little bit. One trick I like to use, just in general, is frequency shifter, and I put it on the master, but it's actually not on the master here, it's on the group, I believe, yeah. So I have the different sections of, this is just the MP3 of the full track, again, there's no acapella or anything. And you wouldn't even, an acapella of this track would sound so, it all kind of meshes together so well, so it was perfect. But you can hear the frequency shifter just brings it in, it sounds like a rewind type effect. And then I like to automate stuff off when I'm not using it. That's something I always try to do.
put a concept on that feeling.
It's also sped up about 5 BPM. So I think actually, as a matter of fact, yeah, I played you that, saying it was the original, but it's actually a good amount slower. So that was the first thing I did, was speed it up. And if you guys have questions about anything, feel free to ask. I'm paying attention to what you guys are saying. So anything you want to ask.
Put a concept on that feeling. Take a word and change the meaning only you. Take the house up in the ceiling. On the white island, reality.
So the first things I did, I added some drums in the intro. Really just a fat kick, because he had that clap in there, and in certain parts I tried to layer my own layer with this, like, clapper snare layer with that, but I just didn't feel like it needed it. So it's pretty much just the OG track sped up right here.
Take the house up in the ceiling. On the white island, reality side. Reality side. Reality side. Reality side.
So that's the first time there's a little percussion here and there that I think I put in there, like this. Yeah, very minimal background things for the most part. This is just a chop from, I think, one of Ramzoid's sample packs with echo on it. The echo is being automated to be more in different places. Then it kind of tones down there. And I pitch these around using the Ableton transpose knob down on the left there. You can transpose each one differently, as you guys probably know. So yeah, that's some background shit. But then I discovered this synth, I've known it. This is Exhale by Output, I believe, which is a Kontakt library. And I've known about this. I've known about Exhale for like a good couple years now, but oh shit, it wasn't auto scrolling. Sorry guys. Now I see the chat. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that, and I'm glad you guys dig the track. I'll definitely go over the bass as well. The bass is definitely, I can definitely show you that. Okay, so sorry, I lost my train of thought. So this Exhale Kontakt library, I found this patch in it when I was working on one of the other tracks that I'm going to go over later in the stream. The Gone by Trevor, I almost said Gone by Trevor Daniel. Me and Trevor Daniel's song Gone. I discovered this patch in Exhale, and I just have loved it ever since. So this, I think this is only the second or third time I've used it, but I changed it from what it was before. So this, I'll stop talking and play what it sounds like.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
So that's like so that it hints at it before the drop right here.
Venom in the fire. Enemies cause hitting you.
And I used LFO Tool to... It has a little click you can... Hey, what's up, Mr. Morant? What's up? That shout out to my freaking middle school music teacher who got me into a lot of electronic stuff and just sampling and beats in general, who's watching right now. So I started with this, and then as you can see, there's a bunch of shit going on here. So I'll dive into that. So the first thing is the LFO tool, which is just giving it that little modulation, the and that was, I think I actually did that originally. I had just played in this melody on the keyboard. And you can tell it's like not fully quantized or anything, especially with, it just felt right the way I did it. And usually I'll sidechain it or use LFO tool anyway, so it kind of that basically makes it sound in time, and it gives it a little bit of a sloppy feel, which I like a lot of the time in my music. So anyway, that's the LFO tool. It's pretty sure it's just, yeah, there's no filtering on it. It's just a pretty standard LFO tool. The only thing that's automated is the rate. And this actually, I think, automates... Yeah, it's just making it a little sharper and then back to being wide. So the one of the big things on this sound... So I'll play you what this sound sounds like with none of my... processing on it at all. So clearly that's like very different. Very, very different. So then I put the processing on it. So first off, OTT, if you don't know about OTT, now you know. OTT is like abused by a lot of producers that I like, and pretty much every producer. It's basically just a multi-band compressor, and I just boosted the shit out of the high end. It's usually so the OTT preset is under multi-band dynamics. I have two because I accidentally saved one, I think. Saved over the original OTT. But they're both pretty much, I think, the same thing. And if you put it on there, it'll have similar... I just take it boosts the low end as well. All I did was do that. Took out the low end because that's clearly unnecessary in the sound, and it's already cut out. But it's basically like ultra compression. So ultra compress, LFO tool, and then at the end, the highs were a little bit harsh. So I went in and I took out some certain frequencies here. And we can do a little before and after of that. It's very like hard to tell probably just hearing it back to back like that, but within the drop context, it gave it a little bit more room with some of the other elements. So the other big thing on this sound, and it's something I've learned over time, at least with production, is that a lot of the time it's the sound. Like I feel like this remix for my music at least sounds pretty simple. It's not doesn't sound too crazy or all over the place, but the complexity is really in in this one sound to make it sound human kind of in the way it does. It takes a lot of time and detail within the one sound that to a normal person might sound simple. So like, for example, this is a mid-side EQ, and what mid-side means is that it's being used, so usually the EQ is on stereo mode, just stereo standard EQ. When you switch it to mid-side mode, you control the stereo, you can EQ the stereo different from the mono. So in mono, I boosted the high end a buttload, but keep in mind, after the EQ, it's still being compressed to shit. So I am automating the EQ, you'll see. And that's just like, basically like a, what's the right word? Like if you put a filter on a synth and you just like are moving the filter around, or like it's basically modulating, but using the EQ. And then on the stereo one, that's just boosting a certain, just giving it a little more mid beefiness, because it's almost got a little too thin at that point. So just letting you know why I did that. And then in the drop, you'll see how it moves, and you'll see how the LFO tool can move as well. So I'll just play it again, because probably forgot what it even sounds like at this point. Before we get to the drop, I'll go chronologically here. So at this point, snare layer, I think, no, it's off. It looks like it comes in, but it's turned off. So it's still just a lot of the original song, but with my kick. And let's see here. Got some effects going on here. Just very little things. What's this? Yeah, just another like kind of rising type of effect that was like a resample from something. I think originally it was just a one shot. Like it was just that sound one time, and I just duplicated it over and over again. So yeah, that's all that's going on here. Then you'll hear this comes in, which is that sound from the beginning. So just, I'm really barely did anything. Put the kick in there because the song didn't have a kick. So that's pretty much all I did, kick and effects. So then we're going to get to the drop now, and I'll show you how this synth progresses that I was explaining in the beginning. Okay, so this trend, a lot of, I would say like electronic music, and a lot of my favorite electronic music is so, it's like the whole song is one transition after another. It's just like a lot of effects and like choppy, lots of chops and all stuff like that. So here we go here. I'll play how this transitions, because I can also talk about like, this is just like plus 6 dB. That's not for a specific reason, if you're wondering. I think it just happened to work out like that. Generally, I would try to have a little bit more headroom, but then again, I love to use I abuse utilities in Ableton, and I just automate volume in other places. I generally don't like to even use this knob at all. So here is where it transitions, and it's kind of complex because the MP3, I actually like the MP3 is playing the same thing on different channels, so you'll hear that this happens with the original. And actually this, I don't even know why this shit's in here. I didn't even know that was there. Okay, so I'll explain all this stuff. Let me, if you guys would rather me go a little bit quicker and not get so detailed, just let me know, because I could really go very in depth, but I don't want to bore you. Not that I'm going to bore you guys, you're all producers, but okay. So this is the channel, the group I made for kind of the MP3 of the original track and some of the stuff that sounds like the vocal, or sounds like it would go in that realm of things. So when it transitions, stuff gets a little crazy because the lead that is the main lead in the drop comes in. So that's one big part of it. Then we have this, which is a resample. Then we have, so basically this is the lead recorded onto a new channel in Ableton, pitched down an octave using the Ableton Warp and Transpose. This is the same thing but pitched up an octave. I changed the formants to just make it how I wanted it, because formants can change the more details the better. Oh my god, I get so distracted. I'm so ADD. Okay, so the formants can change kind of the character of the pitch shift, I would say. That's the best way to describe it. So this is 30. You can kind of hear a difference. Just a little sharper when it's on 0. And then this one is just -12, 0 formants. So the combination of those, and then this one's like fully mono for the most part, and this one's just normal. So barely even noticeable. Honestly, I was borderline just pointless, but so here, the transition of the vocal of the MP3, I had to get kind of creative with it because I didn't have an acapella or an instrumental or anything to work with. So this layer is super stereoized. And apart from being stereoized, it's just this mixed stereo channel I have, and it basically separates it into 2 chains. One is fully right, one is fully left. The one that's fully right is also delayed 30 milliseconds. So it looks more complex than it is. But it would be the same thing as duplicating the channel, panning one left, panning one right, and then using this millisecond to delay it by 30. And on top of that, it's OTT'd in a little bit different of a way. This is just another OTT chain that I gathered from, I think, from another producer at some point, that's using all Ableton stuff. So it has like a reverb in it, using the Ableton reverb, has OTT, and I think all these things are just affecting stuff within the OTT. Again, it's just a rack that I picked up from a friend or something. And then it has the LFO tool. So that's really the big difference here. When the drop hits, everything starts going through the LFO tool like crazy. So, and you can see the LFO tool is automated, the rate is automated, and the rate just means the timing. Oh, fucking T. I know, it's a funny name. And then, so this layer, just to clarify, I just wasn't quite, the transition wasn't like cool. It wasn't hitting like obviously enough. I wanted to make it more dynamic. I guess dynamic's the right word. So there's yet another layer of the MP3, and it's pitched up 7 semitones in the Ableton Transpose. And it just added this like nice crispy high end, and it's just really just the high end. All the lows are EQ'd off as the third layer. So I was surprised there wasn't like much phasing issues there, but it kind of sounds cool. Like it almost sounds like a flanger or some shit. Okay, so here, this is like some weird shit I did. Honestly, like I wouldn't say this is like a method to make a remix by any means, but it's just what happened here. So this is a creative way to make a remix. So the LFO tool layer is super stereoized. And I made the initial reason I thought of doing that was because like there was a clap in there, and I wanted my own clap. And of course, in a lot of electronic music, that type of like swelliness is a cool thing to do, or just it sounds dope. So I threw LFO Tool on that. The rate's automating here and there. So this is like halftime. You can hear it goes between the quarter and the half. So that was like too swelly a little bit. So I weirdly made another layer of the same exact shit. Sorry, it's not the same shit. It's a different part of the song in this layer of the MP3. Because I love the melody in that part. He's not even singing in this part of the song. And I affected the poop out of it. It's like super high end. Makes no sense. Car stereo. It's a preset under, I think it's under multiband. Yeah, car stereo. I like to use some of the Ableton presets. Are really cool. And if you're looking for a weird one, try delay, ambient spaces, disharmonics. That shit's the craziest thing. For the heads, if you're really gonna go and try some random shit, that's just a really cool one. Automate the dry wet on that. So at car stereo, super high end, just make it sound all screwed up. And then the same exact LFO tool, I'm pretty sure, as the other ones. I might have even just cut. No, it's not. It's slightly different. It's using, an LFO tool, you can either just use volume to modify it, to modulate it, or you can also use a filter to modulate it. So basically what this is doing, this cutoff over here, cutoff, resonance, mix, and drive, is the filter part of it. And then generally, LFO tool is just affecting the volume. So that's the filter right there. Without it, you hear those crispy like highs, and you hear the clap a little bit. Just wah wah wah, gives it that like wah wah almost. So that's like the background to the actual main LFO with the vocal. So that's how I like made got creative and made that usable for a remix. And then we have, these were like this was an additional little melody that kind of like felt like it glued it together a little bit, because you don't really notice it. Vince, my kitty. What's up, buddy? If you guys can hear him, let me know and I'll kick him out. Vince, you gotta keep it down, okay? So that has some like reverb, automating. These are like, this says mix Skrillex, just stuff of like accumulated from other producers over time, which is probably one of the most biggest things I could recommend to you guys. Is try to like befriend other of course you guys have a community of producers here. Befriend other producers, try to collaborate with as many people as you can, and trade ideas and methods to do stuff. That's a lot of the stuff I've acquired over the years, or learned over the years. I've learned from other producers, collaborating and that type of thing. What do I think about when layering? I don't really think that much. I more listen as hard as I can and just try to, it's tough. I mean, layering is, a lot of the time I layer too much and I have to rein it back. Like you're seeing the end product right now, the refined end product. So it's easy to, when you see that, assume, oh, this you just hear it like that. But no, it's a lot of trial and error a lot of the time, and just trying to get stuff to fit in. A big thing though, I would say what I think about when layering, specifically mixing layers, is learning about mid-side EQ, thinking about depth, which is like your stereo space, and not just your stereo and mono, but your reverb, because reverb can give stuff such a space to exist. So there's a lot of different factors when meshing things together, when meshing elements together. And then we have one last element here, and this is actually the same exhale. Or sorry, it's not the same. Let me listen to this. Yeah, it's that same exhale patch that I was talking about. That's the main lead. So this one right here. Except it's the original. It's not the one that's going through a lot of my processing. Sorry, I'm burping because of coffee. So this is like a layer to it, and the reason it doesn't clash that much, it's kind of just like almost, I look at it as like a vocal stack. And it's not stereo. Oh, it is stereoized. It's heavily stereoized in a similar way to the other one, to the Blade. Like, I would think of it as there's different spaces or levels where different parts of your song sit in these different areas. Almost like mixing a rock band. You would place certain elements of the song in the same space until that space was full, and then you move to a different space, and you experiment with that until you have everything sounds glued together and makes sense, kind of. So I'll play all this together. Also, how long you hold a key when you're playing that synth matters so much. So it just horrible vocal right there, or impression. It is very what's staccato? I guess that's the right word. So compared to this one. So it's almost just like a harmony layer. So let's listen back a little bit, and then I'll go a little more into the song here. I spent a decently long, probably 25% of the time I put into this song was spent on the fills and transitions, just because that's like a big part of songs that people often overlook. So like this is and the space there, the emptiness right when it hits is very crucial as well. So there's this growl that's from DMV U-Pack with convolution, OTT, then reverbed. But then the mixer automates it off, so really it cuts off much quicker. So it goes from this like massive space to silent, and then that vocal hits again. So the kick, bass hits, impact. It's like literally everything is bouncing off each other so quickly, and I think it's hard to like execute it well. And I still think I could have spent more time. Like Skrillex is a god of that. He literally, everything just has a perfect spacing and is bouncing off each other, and it's always different for different music. Like, it depends what you're going for, of course. I didn't necessarily, it can get too dry sounding for me. It's really hard to hit that balance of, it sounds very clean and simple, but not too dry and boringly simple. So like right here we have that hits, This bass is fucked. So the kick here and bass stuff, I experimented a decent amount here, and I'll go through this. So. Okay, so please focus on fills and transitions. Yeah, for sure. I got you. So this is another like just complex processes to get simple outcomes. So I started off with just a sober kick from one of my packs, an unreleased one I think that I'm working on. Standard clip is a really good plugin. It just boosted a little bit on the gain. Clipping is down a little bit. You can barely notice it, honestly. The kick's a little shorter in the intro as well. And so then I have the kick in a group. The group then is split. I don't know if you guys know about the chain. What you can do is basically you go here, start a group of anything, press this button. So on this channel of the group, just in case you guys don't know this, I'll go over it. You have these plugins. They're bypassed, so it just doesn't matter. So you right click in this open space and you go to create chain, and now you have not only this channel that has these two plugins, but you have a new channel. So you're basically creating like a little mixer of new channels just on one channel alone. So Ableton is cool like that because you can not only group stuff within groups within groups within groups, but then you can have like 20 channels on one channel in reality. And you can have multiple VSTs doing, so if you have like Diva on one, which is a synth, and then Serum on the other, which is a synth, and then Contact, which is you can make some crazy layered synths using these chains. So anyway, I use this technique on the kick channel because I basically, before I got this modified kick, I was experimenting with Kick Tight, which is, I believe, a glue compressor. Let me make sure here, one sec. No, it's a Corpus preset. That's what it is. You go into Corpus and it's called Kick Tight. And I just drag that on. And so this is what it sounded like with Kick Tight. And you have, I'll undo this, but just so you can hear what it sounds like. Sorry about the space bar that I'm sure you can hear. Oh, that's hard. Damn, this is a great way to make samples. That shit's fire though. I'm actually gonna duplicate that just so I have that for later. Oh, this is a cool trick too. So see how I'm gonna undo what I just did, but since I want to keep what I just did, I duplicated this channel. Oh, fuck, it's one sec, sorry. It's not even on that. So what I can do is I can press copy. So I just copied this whole group. Control C. And then I'm gonna open this, and since I wanna go back to what I had before, but I still wanna keep what I just made, I'm gonna then undo all the way back. I remember where I was. Okay, and we're here. Sorry, one sec, I'm just making sure I'm in the right place here. Here we are. Fuck, I'm going the wrong way. You can start mind fucking yourself with this. So anyway, I copied what I just had. Oh my god, sorry, it's freezing. Yeah, I'm like literally mind fucked. Oh, okay, here, I'm back. Okay. Okay, so that's the kick. Anyway, since I just went ahead and did a bunch of shit and then undoed, but I copied when I was up there, I can just hit over here and paste, and I get that channel that I deleted before. So now I have that if I want to go fuck with it later on. Okay, so let's talk about this kick more. So, I have this kick tight channel. That's what it sounds like with just the kick tight. So you can tell, so it's basically paralleled with the original kick, which just sounds like this. Then with both combined. I like how like belligerently clipped that sounds. And now even listening back, I would probably go clean it up. I would experiment with it a tiny bit more. I think it could be done a little bit better, but that's how you should always feel about your music. You should be happy with it, but you know you're progressing. So now that we've talked about the kick a bit, we know it's like that split channel. It's one kick but split channel, clipped a shitload, and then on the group here, there's also a saturator clipping it even more. So in the saturator, the bass is also running through that saturator. So without the saturation, I'll play what it sounds like. In my opinion, the saturator just clips it out a little bit and glues it together in a way that I like. I was kind of going for that, like, just super distorted, like, super overpowering 808 feel. So, aside from that saturator being on, this stuff might come in here and there, and I'll go into why that comes in and all that. It's mainly transitional stuff. Like there's 6 plugins here that just come on for like 2 bars of the bass, just because that's what you do to make a transition. And it's kind of detailed work, but it's worth it in the end. So now we have the 808 and the bass. So there's 2 layers to this. There's an 808 sample. And I know it's like a lot of people would get all like freak out about like how this bass note right here is warped and sounds all fucked. But I actually kind of like how it sounds like that, like with the other bass. I don't know, it sounds good to me. Even though I know some people would cringe at that. So and then the other bass layer is this one, which is a bass that I've used for a long time now. And it's bass samples, but it's this long ass fucking chain. Again, it's one of these things that I got this from someone a minute ago. The thing is, I learned this track is released. It's released on Audius only though, so I can Alex, you can link that in here if that's allowed or whatever. What are your... I just completely lost my train of thought, by the way. I'm sorry. I look at the chat and I just forget what I'm talking about. What are your favorite ways to glue elements together in a group aside from the saturator? Compression can only do so much, that's for sure, but on kick and 808s and drums especially, you can... It takes practice, but you can pretty savagely compress drums together in a group using I can go over ways to do that. You can use there's a lot of glue compressor presets here, like bass punch and parallel, drum full parallel is also really good. And if you group all your drums together, you can put that on there. Sometimes there's a fine line between two glued together and not glued together enough. So that's a lot of production, is just riding fine lines. So there's this sustain bass, and this looks really complex, but it's really just like a sample of a Reese bass. This is what it sounds like. So that's the bass. That's like the sustain bass that I have here. And it has chorus on it. It has some compression here. This is like the amount of compression in stereo, of the compression, the tone, where it cuts out in the low end. There's, I don't even know what that is. I've never even touched it. These are all, you don't worry too much about this. Worry more about just getting a fat bass sound, and then you can, using EQing and filtering. So this is what happens here. I'll give it some of its modulation, like right here. That's just filter automation, as you can see down here. And I'm gonna move along with this track a little bit, because I do have another track to do, and I guess I could talk forever about this shit. And then we only got an hour and a half, but I think we're still benefiting from going over this, so I'm gonna take my time a little bit, but I do need to get through this. Okay, there's one other sound in this transition that I like a lot. And I remember I found it on like the last day that I was working on this track. And then I was like, okay, the transition is finally finished. So as we remember, there's the group of the MP3s of the track. There's that growl sound. There's the bass hits on the one. And then everything cuts out using mixer on and off. And in between the bass hitting and that cutout and the growl, there's this sound. And it really, like, in my opinion, brings the transition together. Because, like, without that sound... I don't know, it fills, like, a little bit of space there and makes it a little more rhythmic. So, the vocal is, like, right up into the drop. Then the drop hits and it cuts out, and it almost feels like it like lifts up, and then the vocal comes in, and the MP3 starts side chaining, and it's like you're floating kind of. Again, like this transition here, like without these sounds, I swear to God, you wouldn't really notice it, but it wouldn't sound nearly as it wouldn't flow as good. I'm trying to find all the lasery sounds here. And then, like, those sounds happen one freaking time for the entire song. So it's like, that should be like your mastering, your end of the track. You're going in and you're adding these tiny, tiny details. So we have like I'll go in. There's a sound I'm looking for that I can't find. It's like the bubbles. Where is it? Oh, it's that one. So you can alone you can barely hear what it sounds like. But it's just like it's like a little percussion type thing. That is like the most ridiculous detail ever, but I noticed things like that and it just kept it fresh for me. It just, I don't know, it adds a little bit of rhythm, whereas it would be very like straight and boring without that to me. So, and then we also have, so this is what remember this is the group with the MP3s. So that melody behind there, to me, just like went with the original melodies, which I loved so much of the track, really well. That no 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 no. And you can really barely notice them back there, but it makes it feel like it's floating. It's just like a layer for the drop. So anyway, let's talk about the drums a little bit. We have this. I'm just going to go through and solo all the drums so you can hear what's going on, just in the drums and the bass. Alex, how do you know when it gets to be too many little things added like that? It's a painstaking process for me, that's for sure. It's never... I'm always like questioning myself whether I'll have to, taking breaks I think is key for that, in the matter of fact. If you're working on a track for adding those details for an hour or so, even just take a 20-minute break, and when you come back, like go walk outside or just do something different for 20 minutes or so, you come back and oftentimes like right away when I come back I'll hear, oh, that should not be there. Like, oh, I went over the top there. And then you kind of do that like 10 or 20 times, and I get obsessive about it. And then you kind of have like a good balance of, you just know, and listening to it in the car, on driving somewhere, does this feel too in your face? And the thing is, what's your goal for the track as well? For some people, for some artists, they're going for that super heady, like focused, producery detail. Like they want that crazy detail. For this track, for me, I wanted to make something that is just like fun to listen to. It's not too intense to listen to, but it's well produced and it has some ear candy. It has some cool fills. So it depends on what your goal is, really, for in my opinion, because it's hard to say when it's right. But let me go through the drums real quick here. The drums are pretty minimal overall. There's also this other effect that I didn't really talk about that is another layer on the drop that makes it feel like it's kind of just like you just raised up a level when the drop hits, in a way. And then yeah, that thing I hit the delay on that for after the drop. Here, let's keep finding. I think that might be all the freaking drums. Let's see. And you can hear everything's panned differently. So this is an Addictive Drums. Just some hats from Addictive Drums. I think I may have even gotten one of the MIDI from there. I don't know if you guys know about Addictive Drums, but they have like MIDI sequences within the they have MIDI sequences within it that you can just drag in, and then they have real recorded drum sounds. So I'll show you real quick. Just using this hi-hat in there, and I just programmed the sounds right here. And it has, that's just utility boosting it a shitload, that's cutting everything out. Then a little bit of chorus. I wonder when, no, this feedback never comes in. Probably semi-pointless chorus. And then it's stereoized, but then it's it's stereoized, and then it's made more mono, and then it's panned to the right. So I don't know. I sometimes just as you go, you build on it, and in the end, I was like, oh, it should be panned to the right a little bit because this other hat I have is panned to the left a little bit. So it just gives it that space that like a mixing engineer would kind of go for.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
So then there's this layer. I had look at this snare group. It's called Snares Lull because I think I had so many different snare ideas, or I spent so long on just the freaking snare, and then I ended up muting almost everything in the entire group, just except for these little fill ones like this. So that's the only time that comes in during the drop. And like if I solo again, I shouldn't have unsoloed all that, but if I solo the drums here, you'll hear the layer there for a second, but so it's not too, I don't know, it's complex in a certain way, but there actually isn't too much going on. So okay, I'm gonna move on to Gone, my other track with featuring Trevor Daniels singing in like 5 minutes, because that one's really complex too, but I'm having fun going over these concepts, and I think it's worth sticking around for a sec on this one. So here on the second half of the drop, it all cuts out again, kind of like when the drop first hits, but instead this time there's a layer that comes in. So we have playing the same melody. So you really gotta, I'm glad you like the beat, Mr. Brandt. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like Gone. We're about to go over that shit. So these layer really well because one is like a super breathy high-end sound and the other is like a very kind of the opposite type of sound. It has like a ton of mid-range and more mid-range character. So they go well together. And this sound is just Serum, by the way. So that's what it would sound like if I wasn't. And then if I play it with the song. You can play it with the LFO, but anyway, that's that was not what it was actually programmed. I was just jamming there. So then the last detail here in the synths is the signature synth that I've used for so long. And it's a version of my signature synth that I made just for this. Oh shit, what did I do? The original synth would sound like this. So you recognize it a little more. Wait, the Serum skin? I'm pretty sure that's the Feed Me. Yeah, that's from Feed Me, I think, made this. Yeah. Throwback. That dude's a legend. So this is a sound that's gone through, like, it looks so complex, but it took me, like, literally years to get to this point of this many plugins on it. Like, originally, it was just, it's chained out now to 2 different layers of the synth to make it sound really fat and big. And it's Razor. So this is a Razor patch. It's called Hopeless. It's just a fucking preset. It's definitely changed a tiny bit, but as I'm sure you guys know if you've used Razor, you can't really change it that much. Kind of just the effects that make it sound different. So, also, fun fact, I had this signature synth for years, and then I remade it one time, and I thought it was a preset that it wasn't, but it sounded similar, but not the same, and I accidentally changed it. For like a whole year, I was using the wrong synth, and it didn't sound. I was wondering, like, damn, I don't like this synth anymore. This is really sad. And then I realized it was the wrong preset, and it wasn't an old version of Razor. It was in like Reactor 5. Only a certain version of Razor, which was the weirdest thing. So this Hopeless preset doesn't exist in new Razor, which I don't understand, because in my opinion, it's the best preset in this entire thing. And I'll just show you. This is what the preset sounds like. Oh my gosh, there's so many things on here. This is what it sounds like with nothing on it. Just so you can hear what's going on. So then, let's go back. We have everything on it now. And if you take that, so that's like the most developed, that's the specific, my signature synth for this song. Generally it would sound like this. But anyway, so that's how that was made. And this duplicate version, just so you know, and the reason I do this for this lead, is a fully mono, same exact thing, but it's fully mono, and it's an octave higher. It's not even an octave higher, I lied. Okay, so anyway, enough about the synth. This is standard effects on it. The erosion is the biggest factor, I would say. The erosion is what gives it that bit crush sound, as opposed to the original. Other than that, there's a delay, simple delay. There's a reverb, little bit of reverb, just standard Ableton reverb. That compressor is doing basically nothing. Oh wait, that's not true. Yes, it is true, because the sidechain's not turned on, so it's not doing... The sidechain is turned on, so it's not doing anything. There's a gate, just because I like having a fat reverb and then a gate to like cut off the tail sometimes. See how it just abruptly cuts off like that? That can keep things tight. Then there's stereo. I like a S1 sometimes. Specifically for this synth, I like S1. It's good to use different spatial things. You don't want to use the same method of stereoization on everything. Just like you don't want to necessarily use the same. Some people say, like, I think that's kind of like a... I don't know if that's just an old producer thing. I'm thinking about a pumpkin bread, sorry. I don't know if that's an old producer thing. Or... Anyway, I didn't even say what I was going to say. They say to use the same reverb on everything. Or use, like... That's just... I don't know, I don't think that's true at all. I think you just gotta use your ears and space everything properly. I like having, like... I use the S1 on this lead. I'll use the delay stereo on a different lead. And then I'll have reverb on some things. And I'll be automating the reverb or the mixer on and off and giving things different, just dynamics in the space. Dynamics not only in the space and the volume, but in the depth of everything. Everything should have dynamics. And then panning stuff left and right, which isn't necessarily stereoizing anything. Still gives it depth though. So there's all these different methods to doing that. Let's go into this. Let's see how it comes together a little bit. So you hear my lead just in the back there a tiny bit. It's just like harmonizing with everything. Na 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 na. Back my singing harmony over that. Okay, so now we drop back out. I might go over an hour and a half a tiny bit. Is that okay? So this... We're about to go back into it. So on this second drop, I just wanted to make it just not like a repeat of the first, but still sounds similar. So it actually doesn't have the intense layering with the MP3 that the first drop did. It just goes into this. So it's different. It's that same chop that comes in second half that brings in that other melody from the original. It's just kind of rearranged a little bit. Nothing new though. So anyway, there are some differences in the production in this half, just for the sake of not repeating the same thing, making it still interesting, and you want to keep listening. The placement of that effect and the transition is just... Sorry, I'm getting a cold or something. The placement of the effects on the transition's a little bit different compared to the first time. That was the first time. Now here's the second time. I don't think so. So, the first drop was only half as long as the second drop. So the second half of the second drop is kind of me just like having fun with some synths rather than sticking to the original song so hard. So, if we listen to just some of the synth work in the second half, you'll hear how it differs, I think, pretty quickly. So yeah, it's really just in the halfway through the second half of the drop, the song comes back in, and this synth, my like signature synth, kind of takes over a little bit more, and does melodies with it, like. There's something about the way it sidechains there that makes the synth sound like it's like wow wow wow, and I love that. I don't know why. I remember that happened and I was like, yep, that's it. I don't think it's Corona. I think I'm good. I've pretty much just been seeing the same two people, my parents, for a minute now. I moved home from LA for COVID's sake, just because I'm not playing shows right now or anything. And there's LA is kind of not a vibe with Corona. So, and it's been nice to be home. I love the winter. I love having 4 seasons. Yeah, Alex, sounds good. Let me skirt on over. You can see look at this, how many versions of this there are. And look how many times I save the same night. 10:14, 10:30, 10:34, 11:51. And then this is the last time I worked on it, I think. Every like 20 minutes I'd save because I'm like, I don't even know if it's better than the last version. So Alex, that's the answer to your question. How do you know when the details are enough? It's constantly second guess yourself and add a bunch of shit, take a break, go back. That's the key. Okay, anyway. It's honestly hard to gauge. I usually spend too long on tracks, I would say. But everyone's process is different. And sometimes some tracks I've made have taken me 10 to 12 hours from the start of the track to the mixing and mastering, and I've always mix and master all my own tracks. So some 10 to 12 hours, some probably 24 to 48 hours. My songwriting process, do I start with sounds or do I start with piano melodies? It's always different, honestly. Usually I need to get inspired by something specifically. It's hard for me to just sit there. Please share what you do. God, I need to stop getting distracted. Usually it's a sound that I hear, oh, that would be sick with this type of vibe. And then the melodies and stuff just flow. I never really just sit there you do have to sit there and experiment, but usually something will happen and you'll want to make a song when you're experimenting, if that makes sense. Look at this fucking 160 channel. Oh my god. And I'll explain why this is so many channels and kind of the process of that. How do I keep things fresh and new when producing? That's a good question. It's tough. Just like trying different styles and learning different sounds and techniques, and I think trying different styles is probably the biggest way. Don't force yourself to just keep making something over and over again. Just because I don't know. That's why I have never understood how certain producers just have such a specific style and they just make it over and over again. And I wish I could do that because it seems beneficial. Your followers like know your sound better, it's more obvious and stuff like that. Not that I don't do that to an extent, but I have used my viola. It doesn't happen that often. And I oftentimes will, after I have a track, I love using viola, like the synth, or not the complete 11 contact viola, and strings from those, just because I have so much more control. I can like layer the strings and I can do all kinds of things. I just need... Okay, so this is the next track I'm gonna go over. I just need baby, you're the only one. I just need No! Why are we having CPU issues? We tested this one and it didn't have CPU issues. Let's try one more time here. That's unfortunate. Let me try something real quick. If not, I have another one I'm gonna pull up. I just need and baby, I can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my arms, love. I couldn't feel any strong, baby. I can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my arms, love. I couldn't feel any stronger. I just need to hear you talk, so call my phone. I just wanna hear you tell me how your day's gone, and I try to make it better if your day's wrong. We don't gotta talk if you don't wanna say nothing. I just wanna let you know that my mind's on you, and when I get back to you, that all my time's for you. Even though these girls surround me, I got eyes for you. You're the only one for me, I got no time for them. No, 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 I got no time for them. No, no, baby, I can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my arms, love. I couldn't feel any strong, baby. I can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my arms, love. I couldn't feel any stronger when you were right by my side. I couldn't feel any stronger when
sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my arms, love. I couldn't feel any strong, baby. I can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my arms, love. I couldn't feel.
At that point, probably should just let it play all the way through. But the track's called Gone, featuring Trevor Daniel doing the singing. He killed it. I remember I had this demo, and the demo was called Alien Shrooms. And I sent this to him, and within 6 hours, he sent me the finished vocal. And he was originally singing over the drop, but we kind of rearranged it and made some edits to it. The vocal processing, Alex, was not, he does his own shit, but I did do some. There's some stuff done. But he pretty much does that. Like I was saying, most of the vocalists I've worked with have just sent me vocals that are pretty much processed and done. Now, so you'll hear in the beginning, vocals, lyrics come pre or post production. This, I had a demo of the idea of the drop. It was a build to the drop. Pretty much how you hear it now, but not as produced out. And Trevor did the vocal over it. And there was, I think, maybe one edit to he sent me the full vocal right off top, and then maybe we ended up, I don't even know if we re-recorded it. I think we used the original vocal. He might have just sent us an edit of it. We asked him to rearrange it a little bit. But this is the vocal.
I just need
So we added some and when I say we, my homie Rage Logic helped me make this track. There's some effects on it. I have this washout that I use that is this is what it does.
love. I couldn't feel any stronger.
It's that reverby washout, kind of self-explanatory, and it's just it's one knob with a bunch of shit from grain delay, auto filter, EQ, filter delay, and reverb. All parameters of these are linked to that one knob. So you'll see if I open some of this, all this shit is moving at the same time, just with that one knob. And that's why I love Ableton so. It's a big reason I love Ableton so much, because that's a huge. You can just get so creative with the chains of whatever. You could then add 5 more chains to this, and then each knob could be a whole separate one knob effect that's utilizing multiple plugins. And it's pretty much infinite possibilities when it comes to that. So that's this washout one. Then this L3 Ultramax is just a waves limiter on Cozy and Warm preset.
Love, I couldn't feel any stronger.
In the beginning here we have some
I just need.
sorry, there's some random little CPU glitches here, but we'll get through it. So this, we just took what he sent us and just fucked around with it. We put the OTT, which I love, as I explained in the last track. This auto filter seems to be doing nothing. And then Isotope Nectar is what's giving it the pitch up. So there's some effects within Nectar. I don't know how much experience you guys have with Nectar, but it's a good vocal plugin by Isotope. And it just has the full array of kind of what you'd want to put on the full. You could process a vocal hypothetically just with Nectar, but here it's mainly used. I'm wrong. Okay. It's nice. I learn stuff when I go back, and it's actually pitched up using the Ableton Warp, and then Nectar we're just using for effects. Okay, so it's being that formant that you hear. It's like it's like moving around. Wow, wow. That's what this automation is doing. Isotope nectar, formant shifting, automating. But the core of the vocal was processed by Trevor in Logic, I think, when he recorded it. And that's that.
I can't sleep.
This song is so fucking loud. Oh my god. This is gonna be the most ridiculous looking shit ever, but this is how the original idea for this song was made, because I just chopped up, it's all chops of samples from Sample Phonics, I think this chop was from, and just belligerently chopped up on different channels with different effects. Not even that affected, just Ableton audio, texture. You go into the the way I said that. You go into the warp mode on Ableton audio, and you click down here and go to texture, mess around with the grain size and flux, and you get some crazy sounding shit. So that's resamples of a chord from Sample Phonics or some shit. So here's the whole thing. So that's like a frozen version of Texture Ableton with this Sample Phonics thing, then chopped up. So then this is all the same. That's all these chops are from this sample. Let's listen to them all together. And let me just tell you that took so freaking long to decide how we made so many. Me and Alex, like, we had the original idea, and Alex is Rage Logic, my producer friend. I made a lot of the album with him because we like basically lived together, and I liked his he just helped me mix it and get it all done. So anyway, though, that's just to let you know why I keep saying we. I made this original idea, and then I was like, let's get the best version of this we possibly can. And so we had like this version. This group isn't even on for, I don't think, for any part of this. Okay, look. So we decided that we liked like one quadrant of the chord chops from like 5 versions ago of the song. So by the way, Alex, I know it's been whatever, hour and a half or whatever, but I'm just gonna keep going for a while. I'll probably do like 2 hours or so. We'll see. So this is the whole chord group, same exact chord group duplicated from like 5 versions ago of the song, and it's just automated on for like certain little parts. So you'll see it goes back and forth between the 2 massive groups. Like, I like that little part of it. And so then these keep chopping around. Honestly, again, there isn't really any crazy affecting on it. More than anything, it's some EQing, like FabFilter. Then I have the washout thing that I explained that is just more of a transitional, like at the end or here and there, automated up, and it gives it that like washed out sound. This is the O fucking T thing, which is basically just reverb and compression. Some overdrive on 6% dry wet, and then another OTT at the end of that. But so let's just, for the sake of hearing it, let's see what it would sound like without this stuff. Yeah, so that makes a freaking massive difference, that's for sure. And it's really just step by step. So I'm going to EQ it a bit, then from there I probably was like, oh, could use a little more of this. Then maybe put another EQ on. And then utility gain, I just use that for volume in general. But I think the main shit giving it making it sound the way it is in this is the use of the OTT, reverb, and some overdrive, because without this, it's actually not even that. It's just the combination of everything. And the second half of the drop, this comes in the background just to keep it flowing here. So that was, I don't think that's in the first half. No, it is. So that, what happened was, I remember what happened. We had these chords, and it just didn't feel like it was, it felt too blocky. Can I show the Pro Cues? Yeah. It felt too blocky, because these are all chops. There was certain parts that just felt like they weren't flowing well enough. So we added, these are the Pro Cues you're talking about, right? So we added this background serum layer. Since these are all chops, so I have the vocal muted right now, by the way. Let's see if it can handle it with the CPU.
And baby, when I'm gone, I just need to hear you talk, so call my phone. I just wanna hear you tell me how your day's gone, and I try to make it better if you.
How did I figure that was by ear? Yeah, I remember that took a while. That was kind of a bitch. Not to mention figuring out the chords, but getting the sound to be the right layer. Like, we kind of knew it needed, it sounds too much like, there's nothing bad about it. We just wanted a background to make it like float a little better and not be so choppy, which I think is kind of what this did. And this is just Serum. I think it's a very basic Serum patch, actually. It's just a little bit of filter and reverb here. Basic Mini, which is under analog, down an octave, filtered so there's not much high end, and then it has an LFO on it, which is so just so you can see what's going on in Serum. Gosh, there's so much shit, so. The top left of it. Oh, my bad. Luckily, there actually is nothing going on in the top left. So kind of just harmonizing with the chords. Someone asked earlier, how do you start a track? This track was started by these chord chops. Just because, and then everything was built around the chord chops. That was the most significant idea. Got it. This was on my album, and I remember it kind of drove myself insane with different versions of these tracks. And like, I was like, oh no, I hate the bass. I hate how the bass goes with the chops. What type? And I went back and forth between like what type of bass should be with these chops. And then I ended up just using an 808 and a Reese, kind of going back and forth. Okay, so here a lead comes in. I like this lead a lot. I love doing shit like that. Like, this delay is not coming in anywhere besides at the end of this. And it goes with the melodies that come in there. And then, so this is the first time I used that exhale lead that I was talking about in the Blade remix. That effect on it sounds crazy. That's frequency shifter Ableton on shift mode, not ring mode. Tiny bit of... It just goes down a tiny bit, then it starts down, up, and then a little bit down again. And so, and the dry wet is doing the opposite of the... So it's going almost down to 0 dry wet and then back in. Just spices it up, makes it sound not the same all the time.
Gotta talk if you don't wanna say nothing. I just wanna let you know that my...
Before I move on from these parts too, I'll talk about the drums real quick. And the drop and the fills and stuff. I remember again, it took a while to get the right kick and snare for this one. So it's I don't know why that sounds so odd. It must be a resample. But it's pitched up an octave. Oh, that's what it is. The fade is used to take out the transient. And a lot of what we're doing is, so here's the verb layer. Just on every other snare that comes in. So you can hear, if you listen closely, the snare is dry, and then you get that like psh, every other one. Just to vary it up, and then so it sounds like that was like flanger, and this, what we did is over time when this this actually isn't the original project file. If it was in the original folder, you would see 200 versions of this track, but over time we narrowed down what snares and kicks we want to use, and then we group the kicks, all the kicks that make that kick, all the snares that create the snare, or layers that create the snare, and bounce it down to an audio track, so that still, while doing that, this track was 160 channels. Big in part because we did stuff like up here, there's two different chop groups. This one only comes in like a couple times, and it's like 18 channels. So I'm definitely lucky I have a good enough computer to do this type of shit, because it's a good thing to be limited and not be able to do that, to be honest. So we have all these different groups, oftentimes just for different sections of the song, or we have the synth group, we have the sample chop lead group, we have the drums. A lot of the time I'll have groups of stuff that I'm sure you've noticed even in the Blade remix, where a lot of stuff is muted because I was just experimenting and then took maybe a piece of it here and there. But so this makes up the drums right here. There's an open hat. For example, this is never playing the song. Because we just didn't think it was necessary in the end. But that's there just because we didn't end up taking it out of the project. So that'll happen a lot, just to give you some context for that. Extra perks and effects. Really just samples, chopped up. And that's just like done over time. It's not like you sit there and one whole session might be spent on just adding stuff like that. So this is the effects just in the intro. So that's just all this, again, just probably one whole session was spent on just making those. It's just samples. Mostly, there's nothing crazy going on here. I mean, this is an auto pan preset around the head, just to give it some stereo. The thought behind that was probably, again, this isn't even on, for example. This was like something that was made while trying to make stuff for the build. Maybe in the original version of the idea that was there, and we kept it there to reference, or if we needed something at some point. It's a lot of the time what I do. Those are some pre-drop impact effects.
Feel any stronger.
Those are layered.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Tom's here. In this one, I know we just wanted this one to have a bigger impact, so this frequency is EQ'd. Just by ear, just like, there's no reason for that besides that sounded best. That's so funny. That's from the the Project Parodies track, Run It. Because I'm pretty sure we did a remix of that, actually, or I did a remix of that at one point, but never released it. So I had the stems, which is, I don't know if that's bad producer etiquette, but it's not obvious. Kick. I wish I could tell you guys. Oh, it's Rack Kick 4. A lot of this is just samples that we got over time, that I got over time. It's pitch down 1. Generally like to have my kick in key with the song, but another thing that doesn't really matter too much. It just depends. It's something you could try if it's not feeling right. There's a ghost kick, so most of the sidechain things, this is a channel that's just turned off. If you don't know what a ghost is, it's just something you use to trigger a sidechain. So generally you want a super short, yeah, I mean that works. Or some people just use a click sample. But, so most of the stuff in the track that's sidechained is sidechained to that. And sometimes it's not sidechained to that. Sometimes it's like a build. So let's move on to this second half here.
For ya. Even though these girls surround me, I got eyes for ya. You're the only one for me, I got no time for them. No, 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 I got no time for them. No, no, baby, I can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my. I can't sleep at night. You stay with me at night, yeah, yeah. And I know I don't deserve you, no, no. But you're all that I need, yeah, oh, oh.
It's so funny. I don't know why that's clipped so fucking hard, and that's not. See how the volume animation's all weird here? Shouldn't be happening. Something happened from when I finished the track to now in this project. I have never been able to figure out what it was, but right there just clips, and I have no idea why. I mean, at this point, I'm not going to bother tweaking that till it's the same as it was, but it's pretty much the same. It's just a volume thing. That's the type of shit that drives me insane when I'm finishing a track. something's just a tiny bit different in a version for some reason, but you gotta learn to let go at some point. Okay, so really there's a breakdown here after there's like the drop, the main drop, then it kind of breaks down and Trevor comes back in. The drums are a little more hip hop. Then it breaks down here. So after he comes back in, does this little section.
Time for them. No, 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 I got no time. Baby, I can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my arms, love. I couldn't feel any strong. Baby, I can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my arms, love. I couldn't feel any stronger.
So that's like a similar. It's like a what's the right word? I don't know what the right word is. It's like a variation of the first build-up, but a little more epic and almost like a breakdown, like a bridge almost. And then it breaks down again before it drops into this new idea kind of for the last drop.
Right by my side. I couldn't feel any stronger when you stay with me at night. I couldn't feel any stronger when you're there right by my side. When you stay with me at night, yeah, yeah. And I know I don't deserve you, no, no. But you're that. When you stay with me.
That comes in one single time. It's an Omnisphere patch. This is a great one. This is like the classic Tycho Omnisphere patch. It's called In Memoriam 1. That's pretty much how it sounds, just right off top. Has Ozone Imager. I abuse Ozone Imager as well. S1 Imager is great. Ozone Imager is great. Panning channels left and right and delaying one by 10 to 30 milliseconds is a great way of stereoizing. Just panning in general, different elements. Then reverb. All like kind of depth. Ways to create depth in your song. Aside from like volume dynamic and filling the frequency spectrum properly. Those are a lot of different aspects that kind of make the song sound great.
I can't sleep at night. Can't sleep at night when I'm not holding you tight, holding you close in my.
Let's see this. Who knows what this was resampled from? This is resampled from something. How often do I set aside time to work on sound design? To be honest, I'm so ADD that I'll just be working. This is why it's so hard for me to finish it. And I'm trying to work on it, but I'm all over the place. I'll be working on a song. Oftentimes I'll be working on a song and all of a sudden I'll go off on a tangent of sound designing from something that inspired me within the song. And then I end up getting distracted and forget where I am. And that's why I save so often. And then I'm just all over the place when it comes to that. But it ends up making really cool sounds. So I don't usually like, it's funny because whenever I try to sit down and just sound design stuff, like having a sound design session, I can't make anything dope. I have to be like making a song or doing something creative, and then it just kind of like happens as I do it. And that's totally fine, and that's why I like to save a lot, and I like to reference my different saved versions for different ideas. Like I could even save a version crazy kick, just like the same thing but just crazy kick at the end, or insane chords in this version, and then eventually I'll go back and maybe make a song out of it or do something from it. But oftentimes as well, I don't know, I never just sit there and sound design. Even if my goal is to make sounds, I'll be like making an idea or like making a little hip hop beat or something, some sort of idea, because that's how I kind of get a vibe for the type of sounds I want to be creating. To me, like, I love what made this track cool is, and what inspired the whole track is the chord chops and Trevor's vocal. And like Trevor absolutely slaughtered the vocal. I remember when I first heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. And that's what made me want to finish the track. There's a lot of it's hard to get inspired enough to spend that much time on a track to make it dope. So it takes true, like, I never really like force it that hard, but when I do love a track, I spend the time on it. Do I typically focus on finishing one song at a time, or do I work on multiple? My album Reset, which this track is on, was the first time I really had to finish like 10 songs, and 10 songs and turn them all in, which was wild. Because I've never had to finish that many songs at once, and that's why I had my friend Alex helping me, because it was very it was a big task. So he was kind of like, I was driving the ship and he was like helping me finish the tracks, giving ideas. At the same time, I'm so ADHD that having someone else's ideas and having to go between my ideas and their ideas, even though I love his ideas, it makes the finishing process even longer, if that makes sense. But it makes a better product in the end. Can I broadly talk about what you would do, like in the remix, to keep the same idea interesting for extended periods of time? I think the most crucial part of that is like small variation, and effects and fills. ravioli. I'll talk about that in a sec. Broadly talking about what I would do in a remix to keep the same idea interesting. I think that's like one of the most important skills of music production, and even I find myself making ideas. That's like the nitty gritty shit that it's not that fun to do that stuff, but it's so rewarding when you force yourself to sit there and you really think hard about, like, okay, what I did the fun stuff, I made the idea, but how can I really wrap this up into a cohesive finished product, and how can I make it as good as possible? Oh yeah, I did do a YouTube video. I didn't even remember I did that. But I lost my train of fucking ADT. So the slight variation, this song is more like melody driven, and there is that variation here and there. It's mainly in the chords, the chord chops here, and the little like tom fills and drum fills. Usually those don't repeat more than once. So like, and at the same time, making sure you don't repeat something the arranging is a big part of making stuff not repetitive and interesting for extended periods of time, like you're saying. If you listen to, like, there's a lot of beat makers that are great examples of that. Even someone like Quickly, or there's different types of electronic music that I think my style of electronic music is a little more organic, and I don't want to say like natural sounding, I don't know, a little more human than like Skrillex, for example. Skrillex is very like very limited. It's like classic EDM shit, where there's like one thing. Skrillex has one thing at 0 dB the entire track, and it's just like the snare hits, nothing else hits. The growl hits, nothing else hits. Maybe like a drum hits with a growl in the bass, but like that Skrillex Humble remix is a great example where it's, if you really listen to that and analyze it, it's like just one sound happening at a time for the most part. My stuff is a little more layered. So everyone creates their own style, but the reason I'm tying that into what you're asking about how to make stuff interesting for a long period of time, I think the beauty of that is really in the detail and in the little transitions that are a bitch to make, but are really make the song listen like the same song without like that certain tom fill or without the pitch down or the rewind or certain effect samples you throw in at certain points, like even these ones at the drop here, like the drop, these ones here, just literally that little brings it into the drop. And then I think stuff like that happens throughout. So this song is pretty linear, to be honest. It's not very repetitive overall. Like that melody comes in there and kind of leads it into this new part. Then from there, this breakdown happens, which leads into a build that's also new. And then this bridge happens that's new. So it's kind of like if the whole song's evolving the whole time. And sometimes I'll make songs like that where there's like a melodic theme and there's some themes. There's even sonic themes, but in reality, it's not repeating that much. It's repeating in a way that is not obvious, but you can feel, I guess is the right word. Our style is very similar. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. I like grew up on dubstep and Skrillex and shit, and then I was super inspired by like Carmack and Flume and SoundCloud beat making vibes, and then I've gone through styles over the years, and as I think most producers do, get influenced by different stuff over time, which is how it should be, and that's how you kind of evolve what you like and what your sound is, and pushing what you do, honing in. But yeah, guys, so I think that's it. That was super fun. I'm glad I got to show you guys these projects. They're, I can definitely, on this one, it's interesting because it's a prime example of like, this is 160 channels somehow, but the Blade remix I showed you was 100 less channels, I want to say. Maybe it was 60 channels total. And in a sense, I feel like the Blade remix was a more refined execution of a lot of the stuff I did in this. Like it wasn't as all over there wasn't as many channels contributing to making one thing. But at the same time, it's still a complicated process, just in a different way. So I hope that helped you guys. And yeah. There really is, Alex. It takes a while to explain like the reasoning behind all this shit. I'll probably start streaming again at some point. We'll see. Any new tracks you can get a sneak peek of? I'll play a tiny bit of this track with Ramzoid, but I can't play that much of it because I don't want it to get ripped and put online or something. And then I'm gonna end it right after that. I'm glad it helped. But yeah, like for the Blade remix, it really was all about the transitions and the different FX fills, because that was a very repetitive idea. Like, it was really just, I came up with that initial, my cat's looking at me like, why the fuck aren't you giving me attention? It was a repetition of that initial theme on the lead synth, and then it kind of, my favorite thing to do is like call and response. So key takeaway frequency shifter. If I make a main lead that sounds sick, I'll try to make a lead that's kind of responding to that in a way. Then look at this. This is 32 channels tops. That's what I'm trying. I'm honing in. But this is more of a beat. It's not really an EDM song. I'm in Massachusetts for an indefinite amount of time. For the foreseeable future, I'm here though, just because of COVID. And I'm definitely not. I just moved all my shit from LA back to here, so I'm not really trying to move across the country anytime soon. But we'll see. I'm in Mass for a while though. Hopefully COVID allows. We can maybe get lunch, Mr. Moran, or something. That'd be fun. There's nowhere to even get lunch, but okay, I'm gonna play you guys this track and then I'm gonna end it. This is me and Ramzoid, and I made the beat. Yeah, and he's singing, and he contributed a bit to the beat as well, but he has a new version of this that sounds way cooler, but this is still a good sneak peek.
I've been trying to blaze out, running to the bed, yeah, running that I go. Liquor that I drank got me running to the bed, yeah, I need you, I don't know. Memories are fucking lost, running fast, someone's coming up, have more than enough, yeah, running that I go. Fortune teller told me I'll be good. Said no pleasure, I ain't find a cure. Got a feeling your life might be fading. Cashing checks, inflation with myself. Hiding in myself, hiding in myself. Yeah, driving me insane, pushing you away. Feel it in my bones, looking through the haze. Remember all my foes, running then I'm gone. I've been trying to blaze out, running to the bank, yeah, running then I'm gone. Liquor that I drank got me running to the bank, yeah, I need you, I don't know. Memories are fucking lost, running fast, someone's coming on, have more than enough.
But yeah, that's the gist of it. And we have a new version, so this isn't even the most recent one, but that's it. Alright guys, peace out. That was a lot of fun, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and it was helpful.